Custom transitions are an easy way to make your live streams look unique. The best part is they're so easy to create and it's totally free to do. So I'm gonna show you how to create 3 stinger transitions for OBS quick and easy in just about 10 minutes. Hello my YouTube friends! To create these stingers, we're going to use DaVinci Resolve. It's totally free editing software that you can download easily, and it's really amazingly powerful. There are links in the description so you can download it and follow along. That is the best way to learn. So you know what? Let's get to it! The first thing we're going to do is create a new DaVinci Resolve project. So we're going to go down here and select New Project. We'll name our project and click Create. Then we want to go up here to File, and we're going to drop this down and select Project Settings. Here is where you're going to put in the configuration that you have for your live stream. So in my case, I stream in 1920 by 1080 in 30 frames per second. You may stream 1920 by 1080 in 60 frames per second. However you stream in your frames per second, you should set it up here. And once you're done, you just click Save. Next, we want to flip over to the Edit page, and we're going to drag in an OBS logo. And you can have any logo of your choosing, whatever you want. This could be your channel logo or whatever, or you can use no logo at all. All of these stingers will work without any kind of logo whatsoever. Then we're going to go ahead and select effects, and we're going to change our effects to generators, and we're just going to drag down a solid color. We'll move this over. We're going to right click on it and go to change clip duration. We want to change it to 2 seconds and click change. Then I'm going to drag the OBS logo down over top here, and I'm just going to shrink this up so it's 2 seconds long as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and select our solid color. I'm going to switch over here to generator, and I'm going to select a color. In this case, we're going to use the green screen color. Now I'm going to drag this down to give us a little more space. We'll drag our OBS logo up. We'll go back to generators, and we're going to drag another box down here, and we'll shrink this up so it's 2 seconds. And then I'm going to change the color, and we're going to select that baby blue color that I always use and click OK. Then we're going to go into effects again. I'm going to select video transitions, and I'm going to scroll down and find triangle left and drag it over our blue box. There we go. I'm going to select it. Then I'm going to go add a little bit of border by dragging this over here, and you can see now we have a white border there on the edge of our blue. And I'll make it a little smaller, and I'm going to change the color, and we'll use a faded yellow color here. And I just want to go and change our ease to in and out. And you can see in our timeline now, our triangle left has a curve to it instead of that straight diagonal line going across. And this means that it's going to come in very slow, speed up in the middle, and then slow down at the end. And I'm just going to click here so that we disable our OBS logo so we can see this a little better. And there we go. We can see it coming across. So I'm going to hold down the mouse button over top of our transition, hold the Alt key, and drag it over to the other end. And this is just going to duplicate the exact same transition. Now I'll add the OBS logo back in here, and I'm going to go up into effects and select push and drag it onto our OBS logo. And I'm just going to shrink the area for our OBS logo, make it a little bit shorter in our timeline. And I'm going to go and change our preset to push up, and you can see this makes our logo come up from the bottom, and we don't want that, so we're going to do push down. And I'm going to add some motion blur onto our effect, and I'm going to drop this down and select the transition curve, and we want in and out, and that puts that nice curve on our push animation for our OBS logo as well. And now we can kind of get a look at how this works. We'll shrink this up a little bit, and then I'm going to hold down the Alt key and drag this over to create a duplicate copy for the back end of our OBS logo as well. And now when we drag our playhead across, you can see our OBS logo moves in and then moves out. So now we want to go over to deliver, and we're going to name our file right here. And this is with green screen. So I'm adding the GS at the end. I'm going to browse to the location that I want to save it. And then I just want to make sure that all of my settings are proper here. So 1920 by 1080 and 60 frames per second, or 30, depending upon what your frame rate is. We'll just add this to the render queue, and we'll go up here and we'll render this out. Now we're going to go back to the edit page, and we're going to drag that file we just created into our media pool. Then we're going to right click on it and create a new timeline using the selected clips. and click create. So now we see our clip in here. We're gonna select color at the bottom. We're gonna select this little picker and we're gonna select the green color and we're gonna use this button to invert it. But we have one more step. We're gonna right click over here and we're going to select add alpha output. And it puts another little blue dot down here in the bottom right, and we'll just drag this blue dot to that blue dot. And now when we move our playhead, you can see that the green has turned black, which means we've created alpha. So now we're gonna go back into our little deliver jet. We're gonna remove the GS from the file name, and then we're going to drop our codec down and select uncompressed. We're going to go to type and select BGRA 8-bit, and we're going to select export alpha, and we're going to add this to our render queue. And this will render that clip out with the alpha so that we can use it as a stinger. Then we just have to click render, and our first stinger is done and ready to go. So for our second stinger, I already have our solid color and our OBS logo loaded in, and I'm gonna add a push to our OBS logo just like we did before. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some motion blur to it. And I'm gonna drag it over so that we duplicate it on the left by clicking on it, holding the Alt key and dragging it over to the right hand side. I'm gonna stretch this out so it's full length and meets up with the other piece. And there we go. We can see it zipping in and out from the left hand side going to the right. We're just gonna adjust the settings here a little bit. There we go. Now we're gonna drag this up and we're gonna go over here and we're going to drag a solid color back down and shrink this up, and we'll select that and we'll choose our color, that light blue color once again. Now we're gonna go back into our transitions and we're going to drag this circle transition on here. There we go. And we're going to add a border to our circle transition and we'll change the color to that dull yellow. And we'll adjust the length of the transition just by dragging it. And we're going to add the in and out easing. And there we go, that's what that looks like. Then I'm going to change the location that our logo comes from. We're going to change it to push up. Then I'm gonna shrink up our logo here and just reconfigure how the transition works. And there we go, that looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna drag the color palette transition over here to the right so it duplicates that. And now we can see that it comes in and out. But we need our OBS logo to move a little bit, so we're just gonna reconfigure that some. And there we go. We want that to disappear before our scene goes away, and that looks like what we're looking for. Now we just need to go over to deliver, and we're gonna go ahead and put the name of our new document in here. Make sure you click browse and set it to the proper location where you want this to go. Make sure your resolution and frame rate are proper for your live stream, and then click add to the render queue and just render this out. And then once again, we're gonna go back into edit. We're going to go to our media pool and we'll drag in the file that we just created. Then we wanna right click on it and select create new timeline using the selected clips and click create. Then we wanna go into color and we'll go to this right panel here and we'll right click and select add alpha output. We'll drag that blue output over so we connect that up. Then we're going to select our little eye picker. We're gonna select the green color and we're gonna go down here and we're going to go ahead and invert it. And there we go. All we have to do now is go back to our deliver and we wanna change the file. We wanna remove green screen from this file. Make sure that we drop this down and select uncompressed and then BGRA 8-bit. Then we want to make sure we export the alpha and add it to the render queue and render it out. And now we have two stingers finished. And you're going to notice that the process is exactly the same. So I'm just going to drag another solid color in here. We're going to make this color blue as usual. Then I'm going to add a transition. We're going to use this hexagon transition right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add a border to it. We'll change the border color to that dull yellow again. And there we go. Then I want to go ahead and adjust the ease to in and out. So we add that curve. And I'm going to drag this all the way over to the right so we can duplicate the same transition at the end. And that's what we have so far. So now what I'm going to do is adjust it a little bit and we're going to select the hexagon transition in and we're going to create a little more animation with this using keyframes. So what I'm going to do is put my playhead all the way to the left and I'm going to go up here under rotation and click the little red dot. Then I'm going to move to the end of that transition. I'm going to go back up here again and adjust the rotation to 360 degrees and you can see it puts another dot there. Now if I move this back and forth, you can see that our hexagon now rotates 360 degrees. I'm going to do the same thing with the transition at the end. I'm going to add a keyframe at the beginning by clicking the red button next to rotation. Then I'm going to go to the end and add 360 degrees of rotation to that keyframe. So now our hexagon is rotating in and out, giving it even more animation. Super cool and really easy. Now I'm gonna drag our OBS logo in here and we'll shrink it up. What I'm gonna do is put my playhead where I want this to be as big as it's going to get, and then I'm going to adjust the zoom to change the size to what I want it to be at its biggest form. Then I'm gonna go ahead and click that little triangle next to it to create a keyframe. I'm going to move back a few frames and shrink it up a little bit, create another keyframe, and I can click this button so we can see our keyframes. They show up as little white dots down there. Then I'm gonna move my playhead out here to the right and make it the same keyframe as the second one that we created so that those are the same size. Then there's like a little pump there, which is kind of nice. Now I'm gonna go to the beginning and I'm gonna shrink it all the way down, which creates another keyframe. Now I'm gonna go out here to the point where I want our OBS logo to start to disappear again, and I'm gonna create another keyframe. And then I'm gonna go to the end of our OBS logo and I'm gonna dial it all the way back so it shrinks to 0. So now when we click play, we can see our OBS logo pops in there. And what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna adjust it, and we're going to add some easy ease into the animation for the OBS logo that we just created. So we can click on this button and you can see these little dots are actually the keyframes. So we can select a keyframe and we can go up here and select one of these boxes, and it changes the way that you can modify the keyframes. So this one over here on the left, we'll select it and we can drag out these little arms here and we can create that same S-curve that we use in the other stuff. So that means it'll be slow at the beginning, speed up, and then slow at the end. We're just going to create these S-curves with the beginnings and ends of this transition right here to give our OBS logo a little more dynamic animation as it gets big and as it shrinks. And we'll try to adjust the size here. And I just want to mess around with these keyframes right here so that our little pump effect is a little more organic. So I'll stretch this out and we'll change the keyframes up here, and we'll just move this. You can actually move keyframes by just dragging them right in here. And there we go. That's kind of what we get. And then we can just click these buttons to shrink that down again. And we'll click play. And there we go. That's what we're looking for. We'll go to deliver and we're going to type the name of this. Make sure we add the GS so we know this is the green screen version. We'll click browse and save it. Make sure our frame rate and everything is proper, and it is. And make sure that we render this out. Then we're going to go back into edit and our media pool and we'll drag it in here. And we're just going to remove that green screen piece once again by clicking on color. We'll add our alpha node. We'll use the eye picker to select the green. Then we'll invert it, and there we go. Now we just need to go back to deliver and render this out with the alpha. And look at that, we've created 3 stingers within a matter of about 10 minutes. It's that easy. Likes and comments are super easy ways that you can help push this video to a wider audience. So take a second down below and let me know how I'm doing. And while you're there, if you're not subscribed, please do. It really does help me continue to make content that helps you. So thanks. So let's optimize the files and add our stingers to OBS. The first thing we want to do is open up Shutter Encoder. It is an encoder that's going to make these files a lot smaller and easier to use. There's a link in the description below and it's totally free. And once we have it opened, what we're going to do is just move our files that we want to convert over, and that would be the files that we exported. And of course, I'm talking about the final files with the alpha. And then we're going to go ahead and drop this down and select VP9. And we're going to go to Advanced Features and we're going to select the alpha. And then we want to just start the function. And this creates nice tiny files for us to use in OBS. Okay, here we are in OBS. Let's add these stingers. It's really easy. So we're going to go over here to our scene transitions. We're going to drop this down. We're going to select stinger. And let's just call this one simple. And we'll click OK. We're going to browse to our stingers. And we'll grab that one. And we're going to change our transition point from time to frames, and we know our transition is at the 30th frame, and we can test this out by clicking preview, and you can see that that's where our transition is. The last thing I'm going to do is change the audio fade style to crossfade, and that means that it will go from one scene to another without losing your audio. And click OK, and here we go. There you go. That's a pretty simple, easy transition. Let's add the other ones. So we can add another one just by going here, selecting stinger. We'll call this one hex. Click OK. All we have to do is go and find our hex stinger WebM format, and we're going to change this to frame. We'll change this to 30. We'll go down here and we'll change to crossfade. Click OK. And now our hex stinger is working perfectly. One more to add. We'll go down here and add stinger, and we'll go with circle. We'll browse to our circle transition. We'll change time to frame, go to 30. We will go and set it to crossfade. You can preview it, and there we go. And we'll just click OK. Now we're all set. We have all 3 of our transitions in here. We can change them at any time by using this drop down and just changing to the hex transition. And there we go. And then we can drop this down and change it to our simple transition. And there we go. All 3 transitions created in about 10 minutes and added into OBS. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's an easy way that you can assign specific transitions to each scene. If you want to learn how to do that, check this video out. Big thanks to all the sponsors that support this channel. You can find their links down below in the description under the heading sponsors. I couldn't possibly do this without them or you. So thanks. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.